bagobereza protocol gye babagambye ziweze essaawa 4 ne babiteekako bigenzeko eddakiika 27 ne babijjako nti sisitimu efudde mu ddakiika 27 abadde n'abantu 26 nga Oponega alina abantu 10 mu ddakiika 27 ffe ba agenti balina okusooka okugamba nti kati voting etandise begin tubadde nesayingira naki na sisitimu babijjeewo paka ne beerowooza ne bagala sisitimu nfu byafudde biki nti naye abantu balonde tugamba tulonda tutya nga tutwala na dashboard twaze wano okulaba dashboard twagala na kodi z'abayimbi twagala representative wa NITA akiikiridde saha kuba mu IT temusobola kubeera muntu omu nga yakiikiridde boodi yonna akiikiridde saha tumwagala ku boodi ya NITA twagala kulaba dashboard kwe tulondera n'abantu baffe abatulonda twagala kulaba logo booklog ey'abalonzi tulina abalonzi bameka byonna mulina okuba nga mubidisiplayinga okusinziira ku kye mwatugamba
kati ekitutuusizza wano okubeera nga n'engoye tuzitadde ebbali twazze tuli bakaka mu Lord Mayor nga twagala obutateekawo mbeerera
abiri emabega bazzeemu ne bayimirira okuva ku makya ssaawa 4 kati dakika abiri emabega bayimiridde ne bagamba okulonda kuddemu okulonda we tuzzeemu ne tudda
And we did that. We had them sign witness forms because we were able to demonstrate that each of the positions that are eligible had no votes. We were able to achieve that. The second point I want to raise is that on the issue whether we stopped or not, I think there's still much miscommunication on that. The correct position is that we planned to run this election to start from 9 to 5 p.m. And communication we got from our technology support, that is NITA, was that the system was robust enough to handle all the votes simultaneously, the voting process simultaneously. However, we observed at around 11, about an hour into the elections, that the system was slowing down. And we did communicate because we got a lot of reports from the various members who are attempting to vote that they were unable. The correct information is that whereas some were completely unable, some of those who had failed earlier were still able to vote. And we did not stop. And for those who have been here, they can attest to that. We have announced consistently throughout the election that the elections have not stopped, they have slowed down. They have slowed down because we were experiencing congestion on the network. We were not aware that actually this congestion or this slowdown in the network was there prior to the elections. NITA, the entire government system, had slowed down. the UMA election system is part of the government SMS system that carries the entire server that runs the SMS systems of government, including NIRA, Ministry of Health, and so many other agencies of government. So when the elections kicked off, it slowed down, and many members were unable to put it aside as a redundancy measure, and we activated it. It took a bit of time to activate it, but we did activate it, and we activated another option of web. We shared the links with the members. The members have been voting successfully, and there's a lot of evidence to that effect. So we did not stop, we slowed down. Still, even that kind of election required a lot of resources. We shared this with the members, and our third option was the digital election, and we resorted to that because we realized that was much cheaper. We tried to fundraise, and we were unable to acquire the resources. So we had two options: to carry out a digital election as our last resort, or to postpone these elections into the future until we are able to raise the funds. So we said if we can carry out a digital election, we got the partnership with the National Information Technology Authority. They offered to build for us the voting system, which they did. We tested it for about a month. The members were able to try and demonstrate that they could vote. And today, we were able to erase all the trial votes, and we demonstrated that the system kicked off clean, and there were no votes in the system, and we were able to start on a clean slate. There are challenges, but like all new things, sometimes challenges are there. And in general, as a country, we have a lot of challenges. We appreciate all these suggestions, but these suggestions come with a lot of responsibility, and that requires most especially raising resources to make them happen. So as of now, as the head of the electoral committee of UMA, I have been tasked with the responsibility from the policy board to ensure that we run these elections with the resources available. And this is what is happening as of now. We have a lot of room to want to audit the election in case any of the members, the candidates are not satisfied. And we have a complaint procedure. We are very transparent. Because this is a digital election, there's the aspects that are technical, and we are happy to take an audit team that would like to verify any of the data. And we promise that 2 months before, we have promised in every engagement that we will honor any efforts towards demonstrating free and fair election, and we still stand by that same commitment up to now. There are concerns, but we must move forward, and the position as of now is that the election is still time. The elections are slated to end at 5 p.m. It will take an hour to process the results. These results will be processed in partnership with the agents, the observers, and any witnesses who are here. That's our current position.
Well, thank you. Three fundamental issues here. Great concern. One, much as the electoral process is digital, I'm sure you must be having at least hard copies of the voting materials. Say the voters register. Can we access it? That is one. That is one. Can we have a look at the voters register? Two, there must be at least, please.
Can we have silence, please?
There must be a voters register. Can we have a look at the same? At least that one to establish who is eligible and who is not. And two, our client here, you know, he's a candidate. He has failed to download that app we are talking about. And he has not cast his vote as we talk right now. We know whether he is now going to be the same franchise that is not going to participate in the electoral process, because the system is totally failed. Three, the process of accreditation to get who is eligible and who is not. How is it being conducted here? How do you accredit the voters and say this one is eligible and this one is not? We want to also establish that. Finally, you have said the system slowed down. We would like to know the magnitude of that breakdown and how it has impacted the electoral process. Because if indeed there was that technical glitch and the electoral process is digital, essentially it means you couldn't proceed. It was also not, you're saying it was not foreseeable. NITA is a government agency, we accept that. And it was not foreseeable that a government agency would suffer such a setback. But if it has happened in law, yeah, we call it an act of God is prevailing a force majeure. So how do you handle that in a situation? In a situation where the only platform you have to conduct an election has suffered that breakdown. That is the only platform, because you have no manual system. You only have a digital platform, and it has suffered that setback. Under those circumstances, if it has slowed down, under those circumstances, how do you proceed with that? And the final thing is, you said yes, you didn't have sponsors, you very much wanted to have a manual election, to have ballot boxes brought here, ballot papers, and everything is done in a transparent manner. You only opted for a digital system because of want of resources. At what stage was that decision taken of having a digital election? And how would the candidates know that now it's no longer viable for us to have a manual election, we are going in for a digital one, and that is ensuring that all the eligible voters participate in this process. Maybe first to deal with that set of questions.
Thank you very much. These are great questions. I wish you had engaged with us much earlier. You would have appreciated most of the information that you're asking about. Starting with the first one regarding the voter register. Because this is a digital election, we focus on publishing most of the content digitally. However, the first draft of the register was published and is available at our office. But because our members, the physical one, it's available at our office, and we published it during a press conference, and we informed all our members about its availability. However, from the time we published it to the time of the election, we moved into from phase of publishing it to another phase of corrections. What does that mean? It means that the register was compiled based on the member information that we had on our files. As in, UMA is an organization that has been around for a couple of years, and during those years we've been registering members. And these members were registered during that time. At the time when we published that register, we were not aware of the state of health of the register. So from that stage, when we published it, we began a second phase of corrections to that register. Some of these corrections include
oyagala omukulu gw'enjawulo gubeere n'ebijjukize mu nnyumba yo kankwanjulire ba King Montage Photo Studio ffe bakafulu mu kkuba ebifaananyi n'okukola video. Olina wedding, birthday party, kukyala, nika, baby shower, photoshoot oba music shoot na buli kimu kyonna ky'oyagala ffe tusobola okuwa ebijjukize ebirungi eri ebirooto byo. Ate nno mwana wattu kusintiiza omuntu wa bulijjo. Tusange bannankulabe ku bitaala ku Prime Tower Level 3 Room D04. Okumanya ebisingawo tukubire ku nnamba zino: noti 7 noti 2 emu noti 4 emu 25 oba noti 755 3 731 oba noti 777 noti 23 4 noti 5. King Montage Photo Studio ffe tusobola okuwa ebijjukize ebirungi ate nno mwana wattu kusintiiza omuntu wa bulijjo.